Hi guys, this is Nikita. This is my first travel vlog, so I expect all the generosity from you guys. So by profession, I'm a marketing specialist with over a decade in the industry now, but at heart, I'm a hardcore traveler. So if I were to draw a cartoon character that closely resembles my personality, I think it's Dora the Explorer, curious and always ready for her next adventure. I also have my Mr. Boots, but I would not like to reveal who it is until I decide later on to disclose whether it's the right time to disclose or not. Yes, so when it comes to traveling, I am Monica. I like my day's plan. I like to know where I'm having brunch, how does my day look like, which Mr. Boots certainly doesn't, but can't help it. So, and also I strongly believe that nothing else inspires us more than real experiences. So whatever little knowledge I have through these journeys, I would like to really connect with the like-minded through these videos. So today's episode is going to be about Coorg. Anybody who has actually searched Coorg, I think by now you know it's called the Scotland of India. It's nestled in Karnataka in the Western Ghats, which is the south of India. So let's dive in. So before I dive into the journey, I will give you a little cost breakdown. And please remember, all these costs are because of the very last minute plan that had been made. It's a completely unplanned, journey because the flights costed me 19,000 round trip, Air India flight with the meals included. And this was the right timing also. I think there were a few flights that were available for cheaper rates, but the timing was not too good since specifically I was traveling with my family. We also took a Zoom car. We took the XUV 700 because we were 5 people for the journey, and you can take a smaller car if you are lesser people, and depending upon your luggage and everything. And I think it's going to be slightly cheaper than what it costed us. So we paid 12,000 for the car and 4,500 for the petrol. This is for 3 days from Bangalore to Coorg. So I think per person the cost would be 3,300. So now we come to the stay part, and there's a lot of screening that went behind selecting the final hotel, and I think and even Mr. Boots would agree that a hotel decides or at least elevates your entire experience of the journey. So in Coorg you'll get all the types of resorts. There's budget friendly, there's premium, and then there's the ultra luxury. So whatever suits your pocket, go ahead. There's ample of options to explore. The top four properties according to me, what I felt were Heritage Resort, Hills Crest Resort, Montrose Golf, and then the one that we finally ended up finalizing was Silent Brook Resort in Coorg, Madhikari. I'll a little bit talk about the property itself because I think it's important for you to know if you are traveling with parents or people who are elderly and might have knee or joint problems. So the resort is based in an uphill structure. You have rooms starting from 10102 to another. I think they have almost 10 to 11 cottages, and all of them have beautiful scenery. But if you're going, I would certainly encourage you to make a request that if you could get rooms that are higher than 102. So since our check-in time happened quite late, I think it was around 9 p.m. that we actually checked in Coorg, so into the hotel. So we kind of got the last rooms that were available. So that was 101 and 102. So the property is shaped like this, and the entire restaurant is at the top of the property. So even if you want to cut some cost and book the ones that are at the base level, you can still enjoy the the top view from the restaurant. So you don't have to worry about not having the view from the room. There is a forest view, and then as you move up the ladder with rooms like 105 and 106, you get a better view of the mountain range and the hillscapes as well. So the property also has spa services, so somewhere ranging between starting from 1,500 and it goes up to the signature 3,500, I think, with inclusive of the taxes. So there's that. Also, yeah, this is that, and we actually booked 2 rooms, one with occupancy, 3 occupancy, and one with 2 occupants. So the total cost came out to be 68,000. So if I were to break it down per couple per night, it costed 5,500 inclusive of breakfast. And the rooms that we booked were 101 and 102. Yes, the hotel, if I correctly remember, was 17 minutes from the city center. And now comes the travel part. I was traveling from New Delhi to Bangalore. It was a 3-hour flight, Air India flight, and it landed us at 1 p.m. And we kind of started our journey to Coorg at 2 p.m. So it's roughly about 5 hours journey from Bangalore to Coorg if you do not do any stopovers. But I think add another an hour and a half for the inclusive of the lunch and the coffee breaks. So we kind of reached the hotel, like I mentioned, at 9 p.m. So it was roughly a 6.5-7 hour journey. Also, another important thing that I would like to mention is that since I wanted to cover the entire travel bit, on the day one, so that the next morning when I'm waking up, I'm in amidst the, the hills and the beautiful landscapes. So we kind of covered the entire distance from Delhi to Coorg in a single day. But you guys can break it down. You can stay one night in Bangalore. Why I'm mentioning this, because as you en route Coorg, the time that you reach the place from where the the beautiful landscapes start, it's actually evening and it's dark. So you will kind of miss the greenery. Though I did not see a problem in that, because the next 2 days that we were in Coorg, we were kind of traveling through the same route. So we kind of did not miss that greenery. Nisargadhama, it's in a layman language. It's a zoo. You have to buy a ticket to explore the the inside of the property. There is a bird park. You can go inside. You can feed the birds. You can click pictures with them and everything. There is a river also and the river. I forgot to mention the most important part of this journey, that this entire trip happened in December 2025, which is post in the later second half of the month. So the greenery, the water level were very decent. It was not as heavy as what you would expect in a monsoon season, and that's why I plan to visit Coorg another time in the monsoon, when the waterfalls and the rivers are in full personality. So why I'm mentioning this, because at Nisargadhama you have the Kaveri river also flowing. So Nisargadhama is an island. Its water level was that low that you can go in the river, you can sit, you can submerge yourself inside the water. Depending on the seasonality and availability, there are also elephant rides that are available in this river. So you'll also get a chance to actually bathe the elephants. But the time that we went to Nisargadhama, there wasn't this possibility. So we kind of enjoyed our time in the river. That was the best highlight in Nisargadhama. Rest, the bird park, I'm not a promoter of zoo or caged birds, so that was not a thumbs up for me. Also, you will see a lot of bamboo plantations there. So there is a entry ticket booth. You take your tickets and everything. You go to the main gate. There is a bridge that you have to cross, because, like I mentioned, it's an island, and it's a very small distance between the two lands. So you will not feel like you're entering into an island altogether. So don't expect an Andaman or something like that. But it's a small bridge. You cross over that bridge, and that's where the entire land begins. You have a lot of bamboo dense plantation. That's also very scenic to look at. And then as you move from there, the first stop is and you'll have small sculptures of the village people enjoying their local festivals, making local foods. So these are all beautiful sculptures that are there. And another very important interesting thing that I saw was the paintings on the tree branches. So there was a beautiful tiger painting on the branch, and it was looking so real that I had to stop and click. You'll find all these photographs on my Instagram channel, which is the Ordinary. The setup is that you first go to you see the bamboo plantations, then you move to the bird park. From there you are rerouted to another corner of the island where there is a deer park, and it's a full caged boundary, so you cannot enter where the deer are. Though you can, there was one deer that was actually so close to the cage that we could actually touch him. So from there, towards the end, when you are moving towards the exit, is where the river entry is. So some people, while we were leaving the property, we saw that they were doing the anti-clockwise. So in case you have very less time in your hand and you want to quickly cover this beautiful landscape, then I would recommend you start anti-clockwise. So you first see the river, then you go to the deer park, and once you're exiting again, if you want to visit the bird park, you can definitely go there, but you can also skip and then move away, come out of the property. There's also kind of a snack shop where you can eat snack food and snacks and drinks and hydrate yourself. But at the time that we went, that was not very active, so we kind of didn't see the point of going there. And just as you exit the property, there is a lot of the entry and the exit happens from the same place. So there's a huge market. So if you are going with kids and they are wanting to buy some gifts, there are plenty of stuff there. They also have their local handicrafts also selling. So the ticket is 50 rupees per person. That's the entry ticket. And then once you go inside the property, when you want to enter the bird park, there is another ticket for that. So you have to pay another 50 per person. And when you enter the property, you have all the different birds. And if you want to get clicked, so you also have an ostrich. You also have pet birds, and you'll also have different kinds of poultry birds. So if you want to get clicked with either of them, you'll have to pay a separate price. So every bird had a different price attached to them. So you can decide for it. So in totality, 50 for Nisargadhama, another 50 for the bird park. park, and then XYZ amount for if you want to get clicked with the bird. We come to day one. So I kind of explained the entire Nisargadhama property in my previous chapter, and that's how I would like you guys to plan it. But however, day one for us was Nisargadhama first. Then from there we kind of went to Tibetan monastery, which is also called the Golden Temple. And towards I had to take a particular official call that day, so we kind of lost an hour 20 minutes. Else you can, on that very day, you can cover Raja's Seat, which is a sunset point, and it's beautiful. You can see the entire landscape of Coorg, like a point in Coorg, and there are staircases where you can sit and enjoy the sunset. You can take your own snack food and coffee, and you can just enjoy the scenery there. But it happened to be that because of the call, we kind of reached Raja's Seat at around 6. We could only see a very light tail of red light of the sunset, and we kind of missed the entire sunset. But these 3 places can be covered in a single day, is what I'm trying to say. Come to the Tibetan monastery. It's also called the Golden Temple. There's a very nice proper parking area. I think a minute walk away from the main entrance gate. I think it will need about more than 30-35 minutes to explore the place. And if you believe in Buddhism, you can also park some time and recite your chants. There's this proper dedicated space inside to see the property as well as offer your prayers. From here, once you exit, there is a marketplace. There's a small park, and surrounding the park is the marketplace. You'll get all your toys and gifts, and all your little memorables from there. Just adjacent to that park, there from that point on towards your right is where the Tibetan kitchens start, and there are a lot of similar naming restaurants, so don't get confused. The one that we went to was the Tibetan kitchen rooftop. It was all your aesthetic decor and everything, interiors done according to the city vibe. The food was delicious. You must go and try that. All the food pictures you'll see on my Instagram, so you can all. So on day one, we covered Nisargadhama, Tibetan monastery, and Raja's Seat. So Nisargadhama is from Nisargadhama, Tibetan is like 19-20 minutes, and from Tibetan monastery, the Raja's Seat is an hour. So this is the total commute time that you'll require one way. So this is all about day one. Now we move to day two. So on day two, we covered 3 locations, and we began from our hotel, I think at around 10:30, 11, after having a delightful breakfast at the resort. And there was a very small waterfall. It wasn't a tourist spot, so there's no particular name assigned to it, but it was on our way, so we kind of stopped over. You can look at the videos. And it was quite scenic, and it was just covered with, amidst the hills. There's this water dripping down downstream. It was a lovely sight. So there was not a proper road that led to that thing. So if you, in case you're taking a car, a self-driven car, then be double check if the car can go through that route or not. And then from there on, we kind of went to our another location, which is called Kota Betta viewpoint. But please remember, guys, this viewpoint is something that was recommended by the hotel staff. It was not mentioned on the map of Coorg that we came across at the Nisargadhama. So another pro tip: when you visit Nisargadhama, there's an entire map of Coorg, which I'll also so there this particular place, the Kota Betta viewpoint, was not mentioned. It was something that was recommended by the staff, and that's how we started driving. And it was an hour drive, an hour 10 minutes if I remember correctly, from our hotel. And this is on the other side. So remember I told you about the Montrose Golf Resort, that this particular viewpoint was on that route, and this route is completely all about coffee plantations and estates. These are like, I am pretty sure there were a few on the way when we were going to Kota Betta. Some was acquired by Tata Group, and there were family run estates that were running the coffee plantations. So it's a long route. It's a beautiful route for if in case you have never been to a coffee plantation. In between, I think I'm not too certain, but if you have connections, if you I'm also not certain if there are Airbnb experiences here at the coffee plantation where you can go and experience how coffee is actually roasted and then come into the city. That could be an experience. But sure, Kota Betta viewpoint, we were almost like 10 minutes away from the location when we actually saw that there is not a proper road that we can drive on. So it was quite a raw piece of land, and somewhere in between there was a person who was actually getting the road made by his own money. That was not government sponsored, so I'm not too certain if there are proper roads that lead to that point, but I'm pretty sure that viewpoint would be amazing because and actually give you the feel of Scotland, because from as we were en route to that location, we could actually see those Teletubby, how I like to call that particular landscape is. So unfortunately, we kind of did not leverage this 1 hour, and we couldn't reach the ultimate destination. But this is just a tip, and maybe when you are visiting this location, you would want to double check at your resort or somewhere nearby a common restaurant or a travel agency if this viewpoint has a proper road by the time that you visit here. So this was a thumbs down for me, since I didn't get to enjoy it. But when you look at the pictures on Google, it's beautiful. Next was Harangi Dam. Harangi Dam is beautiful. So there are two ways to actually reach to that point. One is through the common Madikeri city center road, and the other one is which we took because we were coming from Kota Betta. So the Kota Betta would take you to the backside of the dam, and then you have to cross a small bridge. It's not for heavy vehicles, so be double sure on what vehicle you are driving. It should not be a heavy van, fully loaded and fully with rush, but it was a pretty stable one. So you can just drive past that bridge, and that's when the main entrance gate comes. So the backside of the dam is also, the dam was not in its full blow at that point in time, but the waterscape was just lovely. You can just have a look at the videos that we follow this. It was really calming, and the sun was also very warm and welcoming, so it was a beautiful sight to look. This chapter is for the wildlife enthusiast. If you really love elephants, then this is for you. There are three places which are dedicated for you to go and interact with the elephants. You can help them bathe, you can feed them, you can also have an elephant ride, but this is something that I'm not pro of, so I would only recommend bathing and feeding the elephant. So from Kota Betta point we went to Harangi Dam, and like I mentioned, and it's an hour 13 minutes drive from Kota Betta to Harangi Dam, and it's a pretty smooth ride. There are no raw roads that you would encounter, so that's a peaceful ride. And Harangi Dam charges you 50 rupees per person as the entry one, and before that place where you can actually buy the tickets, there is a parking fee for the car. So you pay the parking fee, and that is dependent on the kind of vehicle that you are coming into and then you pay the entry ticket, and then there is a car that will take you from the entry point to the main lake point, but it is a very small walkthrough, and if you have had a heavy lunch, then I would recommend walking that distance. You have, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 20 rupees or 30 rupees is the charge per person that the car takes. So you can, if you're too tired, you can take it. If you want to just walk and enjoy the lush greenery, you can just walk that route. It's pretty walkable. There are no rough terrains. It's a flat land. That we entered the open space, we saw the elephants, and it was a beautiful sight. Also, this is a sunset point, like I mentioned, so the time that we reached there, it was absolutely the sun it was around 4 that we reached the location, and it was a beautiful sight to indulge in. When you're feeding the elephant, there is a different price that you have to pay to that allotted man. Every elephant has a man assigned to him or her, just in case things go out of control. There is also a barricade that you should not cross while you're feeding the elephant. And then after that area, just adjacent to it, the lake starts, and it's a beautiful sight. The water sports are also there. Though the time that we visited, they were not operational, or I think since it was cold, nobody was indulging in the water sports. So also important time that the elephants, the feeding time for elephants is fixed. They are not available all around the clock from 8 AM to 6 PM, which is the the time for Harangi Dam, but there are specific time which is 9 AM to 11 AM and 4 PM to 6 PM. So whenever you are planning your itinerary, please ensure that you're following this timestamp. And if you have more time in hand and you really want to visit another elephant camp, the most popular one is the Dubare Elephant Camp, and there is also another one called the Matti Godu Elephant Camp, which is, I think, nearer to Dubare itself. But yes, we couldn't plan and pay a visit there. The last spot for day 2 was Raja Seat again. Why? Because we missed the sunset yesterday, and from Harangi Dam to Raja Seat, it's an hour drive. 53 minutes is what Google shows, but generally it takes you an hour 5-10 minutes, inclusive of the parking and everything. And yes, this is where we come to the end of day 2. Also, a very important, landscape that we missed during this trip was the falls. Somehow, we were not wanting to go to a very touristy spot where, you will find the crowd. So we kind of didn't want to go to Abe Falls, which is like, one of the most famous visited place there. Apart from Abe Falls, there are 2-3 more waterfalls that are in the north and south of Coorg. And yes, you can definitely, towards the later end of the video, I will tell you what exactly your itinerary should look like if you have 3 full days to yourself in Coorg. So we come to day 3, and this is the time when we head back to Bangalore. But this plan happened on the spot, and I'm so glad that this actually happened. So we broke the journey from Coorg to Bangalore by stopping at Mysore, and Coorg to Mysore, it takes 3 hours. And en route to Mysore, we kind of stopped at one beautiful location. It's called the Chunchkatte Falls, and it's not a commercialized place, so I would definitely recommend you to visit. Even in the non-monsoon time that we visited, which is December, second half of December, the water was enough to give you a break from the cityscapes. So this it's also adjacent to a temple. It's Sri Ram's temple. Sri Ram's temple. It's called Sri Kondan temple. And there are specific timings when the temple is closed. So I think 1 to 2:30 is when it is closed. And just behind, this temple, there is a gate that takes you to the dam. The time then that we actually visited the place, the gates were closed, but there was a kind of a building, not a lighthouse, but a row of stairs that goes up, and from there you can see the entire span of the waterfall. It was just beautiful. And just opposite, facing the temple, is Hanumanji's sculpture in black stone, and it is a must visit. It is something that also drew me to this place, and so you must visit. It's not a commercialized place, so you will be at peace there. You will avoid all the crowds. Also, the best part is it is not a detour from reaching Mysore. So from this point till Mysore, it's an hour's drive. So you should definitely cover this, visit this place if you are on a road trip from Coorg to Bangalore. And as you come closer to this place, there are beautiful landscapes. It's all farmland. How I like to call it is the Teletubbies. And I've also visited Tuscany, which is in Italy, and it's also farmland of Italy, and I can compare this landscape to them. The Tuscany farmlands are more in height and a little more curvy. These are a little flatter, but it will give you the same vibe. It's amazing road, and if you just turn on the music from Zindagi Na Mere Dobara, it's a perfect tune to match the vibe of that place. There are beautiful lakes and bridges, so you'll see water bodies, you'll see farming, farmlands, people farming, the local village life, and it's a beautiful sight to be at. We actually stopped over our car to take a moment and just soak in the beautiful landscape, and it was so beautiful. It was the green that you miss in the city. This time we entered Mysore, we took a little nap. After lunch, we booked the Quorum Hotel, which I will not recommend because the service was not at par, and especially not at of value of what we paid to the hotel. So we wanted to take a hotel which is closer to the Mysore Palace, because the Mysore Palace shuts at 5:30, and then there is a later light and sound show, if at all, which starts from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So we wanted to be closer to the property, but this is not a hotel that I would recommend. And there are a lot of hotels around Mysore Palace, so you will have multitude of options to choose and pick from. So this section talks about Mysore Palace. It's for people who love architecture, especially Indian architecture, and it has a lot of Western influence into the architecture, because the man behind it was a Britisher named Henry Irwin. So the entire palace is divided into various parts. There's a gateway from where you enter. When you enter this gateway, on your right you will find a beautiful temple, also inspired by the South Indian architecture. And as you move towards the main palace, you'll find a beautiful garden. All those who love horticulture, it's a treat for them. And there's a place at the backside of the palace where you have to keep your shoes, take the token, and then you have to be barefoot in the entire palace, so ensure that you are wearing socks. The way the flow of the interior of the palace is such that there's a Kalyana Mandapam, then it is followed by a private darbar, then comes the public darbar, and as you exit there is a wrestling courtyard where you will see two beautiful powerful emblems of power there facing each other in a ladder, and which opens to the courtyard where the wrestling used to take place in early ages. Just a pro tip, when you enter Kalyana Mandapam, I faced a lot of crowd at that point in time, so my pictures didn't turn up really good. So in case you are facing the similar problem, I would suggest that you can straight away go to the private darbar. It's a beautiful a marvel if we were to talk about symmetry, architecture. And the entry timing for the palace is 10 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. There's also a light and sound show, which unfortunately wasn't active during when I went. So ensure that you know that if it's still working or not, and accordingly you can plan the second half of the day. And there's a lot of street shopping also available, but not if you compare that to Somanathapura Temple. It's not streets filled with handicrafts. There would be small vendors right outside the gate where all the parking and everything is there. So a little bit of wooden handicrafts is something that you will find. The main market is, I think, 5 to 10 minutes away from the main palace. So if you want to shop your heart out, you can visit that Gol Chakkar roundabout. Yes, there is also a Ghoda Gadi right in front of the palace. So if you wish to travel back in time and just take in the experience of how the world used to travel before, you can book it for, I think it starts with a half an hour, 1 hour package. And if you are in for a real treat, Anna Vilasam restaurant is a must visit. We kind of found this place on Zomato, and it was perfect. We kind of ordered 3 dishes, and we were expecting kind of not a really good Delhi catering to the Delhi taste palette, but it just wowed us. So the signature Mysore dosa you must try. It was something very different from what is offered in North India. So it is their signature dish. You should definitely try that. We also happened to order 2 appetizers, which is your barbecue pineapple and garlic mushroom, and it just blew our mind. It was really so delicious that we had to order it twice before our original meal could come. So the other, the normal dosas, the normal idlis, the tart idlis, everything else is available there. They also have a juice counter, so you are in for a real treat. So do not miss this place. The chapter is about Somanathapura Temple. It's also a UNESCO heritage site, so a must visit. All those who appreciate Indian architecture and the craftsmanship should definitely visit it. Earlier this temple was used to offer prayers and offerings to God, but after the Mughal invasion, a lot of this architecture was damaged. It was broken. The sculptures of God and goddesses were broken. So in Hindu religion, if the murti gets khandit, which is if the statue of the sculpture gets damaged, you cannot offer prayers using that idol. So this is just a heritage site, so do not expect any kind of experience of an aarti or pandits offering some prayers. This is purely a tourist spot right now, and it's such a great loss. The timings of the temple is 8:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the evening. The entry ticket is rupees 25 per person. So when you enter the place, you also get you have guides to your for your journey. So it depends on the number of people you are in the group. So we were 5 people, so they kind of charged 400. They also try to spam you. They want to charge more from you, so be very particular. And I know Indians are best at bargaining, so I don't need to worry about that. Yes, and there's a lot of street food also right outside the temple. So just in case you visit this during afternoon and you are really in need for some hydration, there's a lot of offerings, local coconut water, tea, coffee, anything that you want, and snacks and chips and packaged food. So yeah, in total, I think you won't need more than 45 minutes if you're going without a guide, with all the pictures and everything inclusive. And if you are going with the guide, they would take like about 30-35 minutes to explain you the entire thing. And I think you must hire a guide. Why? Because they actually explain the entire architecture, and each stone, each layer of the of the design has some sculptures explained to you. So there's a scene from Mahabharata, there's a scene from Ramayana. So we come to the exciting part of the journey, which is also called Shivanasamudra Waterfall. So these are twin waterfalls. One is called Barachuki Waterfalls and the other is called Gagnachuki. Also, why it is important, because this is where Asia's first hydroelectric power station was actually built in 1902. So it's a must visit, but let me tell you guys, if you are expecting a lot of water, and a lot of water in the month of December, so you will be disappointed. So the best time to visit here is during the monsoons. You will hardly see the rocky terrain that is there. It will be filled with water coming from all the way. However, I am a water baby, and even if it's slightest amount of water I see, it just spikes my energy levels and enthusiasm. So I was in for a real treat. I'll explain the property to you. So if you're coming from Bangalore to this point, you will be reaching Barachuki viewpoint first. But if you're coming from Mysore, you will be reaching the Gagnachuki water viewpoint first. And this is also the point from where you enter the hydroelectric station route. So there's a small toll road that takes you. Also very important, I'm reminding you again, this is a 1-hour detour from you're on your way to Bangalore. So 30 minutes one way, so keep that in mind. Otherwise, if you don't mind this halt, this is a beautiful place. We kind of, the timing was such that we came to this point in afternoon and the sun was right above our head. So it was not a very easy, tourist location for us. So do carry your umbrellas and your hats and caps, because the sun is going to be very, very harsh on you, even in the month of December. There's no entry ticket. There's a parking slide, small parking fee, which is I think INR 20 is what we paid. And there's a lot of street food also there, even during that time in December, which is not the peak season. The vendors were there. They were shouting your names to get hydrated and everything. But beware of the monkeys. There are monkeys, so do not carry any baggage that any polythenes or plastics. Just keep everything in a zipped baggage. So here. And recently, I was just after coming from this location, I was actually saying that this Gagnachuki viewpoint has been recently constructed. So there's a very, very beautiful ladder that they have built, a staircase that they have built for you to enjoy the viewpoint, and so that you in the crowd situation, you're not missing the main point. The views are just amazing. The scapes are beautiful. Also, another thing which came to me after I was just searching about the tourist spot is that this waterfall is surrounded by the Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary, and it's a day, you can book a day's trip, you can go for a trek, a camp, fishing and sightseeing, all of these local experiences you can book from where you are staying. So this is something that I came to know of later, otherwise we would have planned a day's trip here. There are also nearby hotels, so you don't have to come all the way from Mysore, but yes, from Mysore you can plan a day's trip and then head back to wherever you are destined for. So yes, also I will explain the viewpoints to you again. So one is the Barachuki viewpoint. Also adjacent to this, there is the Dargah from where you can view the waterfalls from a different angle. The Barachuki viewpoint also has a boating point. It is a few steps away from the main point. And the Coracle boat, which is the local famous boat everyone wishes to be. It's a round boat, and it is. I'm still wondering how one drives that, but yes, you can do that. I'm not too certain if it was open during this time or not. So, before you head to there, and if this is one of the, checklist for you, so double sure that if it's happening or not. So it's also said that elephants also come there, but I'm not too certain. Since it's a sanctuary, I can imagine them, but I don't have short proof. So you can just go about researching that. Yeah, I think that covers everything about the waterfall, and do throw your questions in the comment box. I'll be more than happy to help you. The more we connect, we interact, the more the network grows stronger. This is the last chapter of this journey and day 5 of my journey to Coorg, Mysore and Bangalore. On the itinerary, it was the last destination for us was Isha Foundation in Chikkalbalpur, which is 1 hour 36 minutes away from Bangalore. We wanted to close the journey on a very spiritual note, and that's why we chose this location. It's in Nandi Hills, a very famous location near Bangalore. People who reside in Bangalore obviously know about it. Nandi Hills is also known for sunrise views, but you cannot combine two locations together. Why? Because the light and sound show at the Isha Foundation starts from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. You can come in the evening time during 5:30. You can enjoy the sunset views. You can meditate for a while before the light and sound show. But the entire span between the sunrise and the evening, then you'll have to either be located somewhere at some restaurant or dhaba, because I didn't see many hotels in that route. So this was like a day trip. The place is famous. Why? Because it has 112 feet Adiyogi statue, which is Shivji's statue, and the place was so magnetic. The way you enter that location, you have hills, and then suddenly when you take a turn, the entire statue appears in front of you. The sight to behold, to be very honest, and the place, to my astonishment, was it was very organized. So there's a place where you have to park your car, and you have to be barefoot in the entire journey when you're inside the foundation. So I would recommend that if you're comfortable, then leave your shoes and footwear inside the car, or there is a place where you can deposit the shoes, and once you exit exit the property, the shoes will be at that point from where you can collect it. It's a token system, so you don't have to worry about losing your footwear. Also, since you have to walk barefoot, ensure that you're in comfortable attire, as well as if you're wearing socks or something, you can, because there is a little portions of grass, green grass, and then there is a cemented area. We also saw people meditating. There's a space marked under the statue where people do offer their prayer and offerings to the shivling, and there were people who were also meditating. So if you want to park some time in solitude and meditate, it is up to you. And the best part was that the system was very organized. There were lot of crowd, that you would expect in a concert. That was the amount of people that were there, and this was a non-peak season, and though it was a Sunday, more people had eventually come, but the place did not end up in a stampede at all. Also, when you exit the place, you get a chance to feed the Nandi. So if you have to pay a certain amount to get the food, and then you offer it to them. There are also restrooms, proper restrooms, so you don't have to worry about that. Also carry a jacket, I would recommend, because towards the evening it's a little chilly. So do that. Also, another recommendation is to carry your own picnic mats, because you don't know where you will get the place to sit. So if you're not comfortable on sitting in the attire that you're wearing, you can carry that. And lastly, the location has a lot of restaurant options. Because the timing is such that when you go back to Bangalore, it is absolutely dinner time. So you can either have your dinner there and then head towards Bangalore, or because everybody leaves at the same time, and there's a lot of crowd that goes. A lot of time is wasted sitting idle in the car. So recommendation: have your dinner and then head. So here I come to summarize the entire journey. The ideal itinerary, how it should look like. Day 1, begin early, go to Nisargadhama, combine it with the visit to the Tibetan monastery, and from there end the day with the beautiful sunset at the Harangi Dam. Day 2, again begin a little early. I know it's difficult, but it's up to you to how you want to customize the itinerary. Go to Pushpagiri Hills. It's also a beautiful trek point, so you can begin your day early, and then combine it with Malali Falls and conclude the day with the sunset at Raja's seat. Do remember, you have to be here before 5:30 if you want to enjoy the sun set. Day 3, you can visit Mandalpatti Hills. This is also a trekking point, and there are jeeps and cars that take you to enjoy the view from there. It's a viewpoint, but do remember, it's going to be a bouncy ride, bumpy one. That's what the hotel staff had mentioned to us. So in case you have some back issues or are not comfortable with such journeys, so avoid it. Combine it with Abe Falls, and then end the day at Dubari Elephant Camp. Be sure that you reach this place at before 4 p.m. because you just have 2 hours to indulge with the elephants. So time your plan accordingly. Also, from day 3, I would recommend that you move towards the south of Coorg, because the sites that are there in the South Coorg is almost 2 hours away from the city center, which is Madhukari. So I would recommend moving towards booking a hotel towards the end of your journey in South Coorg, because you have a Nagarhole Tiger Reserve, which I am assuming would be a morning safari and an evening safari. So you can stay somewhere closer. Apart from that, you can combine this day 4 with Chilavra Falls or Malali Falls. So that's how Coorg, that's how you cover the entire geography of Coorg. I hope you like it, and all the best for your trip. So that brings me to the end of this journey. I hope you guys enjoyed it a lot. This was my first travel vlog, so I'm open for feedback. I would really love all of you to share your viewpoints of how you like the video. If there are certain things that you want me to change, incorporate, I would be more than happy to hear you. So all the best, guys. I hope you get the best itinerary planned for the next time you visit Coorg. Thank you.